you've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
Hi, I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can. What in ways? What is Twitter? Trent.
Be like Roller Dog NC, who is using the hashtag NetHead not only to tweet along with us, but also to pimp out that his book about selling a script to TNG when it was in not syndication, when it was in production, about Q, is now on Kindle. He's using the hashtag NetHeads. Why not?
Whoa, buddy. I don't want to get into all that Q stuff, okay? Look, I want to keep this a conspiracy for. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the Star Trek character Q, not.
Yeah, not Canon.
Canon, not canon.
Canon. QN. Yeah, this is not Remember the Roller Dogs, his first book. This is Q Me, my Star Trek story.
So
and
this is.
If you've got a Kindle Unlimited, which I think comes with Prime, or you read it for like $2.99 or something. I don't know. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely. But that's very interesting to hear because I read that, but it wasn't until you used your words that I actually cognitively realized. Wait a second, we're talking about a new book, man.
Yeah, this is a new one. Now, the question I have for him is this past year I full on pants to the ankles went deep on audiobooks, and is Matt going to put out his own version of an audiobook? Because I would happily buy that.
Oh, and so is he going to sit there and read his own damn book?
Yeah, I hope he does. I'll be honest, otherwise it might not get read.
Well, I mean, or, I may know a podcaster that might be able to figure out a way to read the book in spoken word.
Yeah.
I can do character voices. I'm just saying.
What's your best Brent Spiner?
Oh, I've never tried. I've never done Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
And by the way, hello, Zach. Zach's chatting with us on the YouTube. And by the way, we've kind of gone, I don't want to say full circle, but it's interesting the way our show keeps evolving with the platforms, regardless of whether we should be doing it or not. And with this now, guaranteed the best way to interact with the host, one of us anyway, is actually I see the activity now through the different platform chats that are integrated instead of Twitter. It's almost like we've now gotten to the point where you're the Twitter cop and I'm the everybody else.
Yeah, and then I go back and chime in post show in all the live stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I'm putting faces now to the names that you're saying in the chats that otherwise I'm clueless.
Yeah, see, it's okay. I live in a clueless world too. Life is good there. So actually, Trent, it's funny you should mention absolutely nothing, because this is a really ham-fisted segue that doesn't really exist.
Okay. Hey, rub it in.
But I just want to let everyone know that one of the things that I have been doing, because we do have a Patreon. It's the reason why we're able to occasionally upgrade equipment. It's the reason why Trent has a mower, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My real mower, REEL mower.
Oh, also, yeah, you're right. The Nintendo Switch. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know what I would have done this year, being fun employed and COVID and everything. Switch made it possible.
Oh, look at that, guys! We were a therapy treatment thing. I word speak good. But one of the things I've been doing because of the wonderful people that do support us, is I try and now throw extra content there, and I'm comfortable in saying this now because I've done it for at least 3 weeks. I kind of make that as like the barometer. Let's not really talk about something until there's some base level of commitment there. So now, if you were to subscribe any level on our Patreon, you kind of get these exclusive special edition NetHeads podcasts that exist both in video and on audio format. So if you're already on one of our Patreon supporters, like Miranda Janelle or one of the Zacks, you could just be subscribed to our podcast there, and if we had ads like in the beginning or slipped in the middle, they're ad free there, so you can enjoy the entire back catalog. But these would automatically get delivered to you as well, because that's where they reside. So I do them both, and it's a little 15 to 20 minute something that I do on an irregular basis, but at least once a week. And it has allowed me to kind of talk about stupid things going on around us, or just stupid things in my life, right? Like, one of the things that I realized is that if you have actually, Trent, let me ask you this question, because what year was your house built?
1937, I think.
Okay, so this is an excellent question, because you have a kitchen. I'm assuming it's I don't want to say the original kitchen, but at least the kitchen space hasn't been expanded.
Correct.
Okay, so in that case, do you have a dishwasher?
I do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I'm gonna say something, and you're gonna be like, "Son of a bitch, you're right," because we've been going through a thing where part of the dishwasher is broken, and I've got a home warranty, so I'm going through that process because it was way more money than I probably should have spent on a dishwasher, but I got some great discounts on it.
Yeah.
So I ended up going through the home warranty. So we got a really nice like dish drying rack to go in the kitchen. And I've actually been to some extent washing. Right now my wife is listening to this going, no, he hasn't. But I have. I've been to a greater extent. I've been doing some dishes. And I realized, like, I enjoyed this process. Like she was even washing, and I was there with a rag and drying and putting away. Yeah. And I realized something. I'm like, because I sat down, Trent, and I asked myself, why is it that I am okay doing this, but I'm not okay putting it into the dishwasher? That's when I realized it. I don't want to work, Trent, for a machine.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's a valid point.
Because,
if the dishwasher was so good, it would load itself. Because essentially, you're washing them still. You're still doing what should be its job.
I completely agree. You're doing the job of the machine. And and my wife will point out there is a difference in like the effort that you can go to. For example, now you've got to stay focused on using soap, so you're breaking down the oils and getting things clean. Whereas with the dishwasher, you don't really need to use soap. You can just go at it a scrub brush. You got nothing on the plate. Now it's ready to go in there for the dishwasher to finish the job. Okay.
Right.
But apparently I'm foolish, and I've been using soap the very few times I have done dishes before they go in the washing machine, because I've always used it just as a dish sanitizer.
Yeah.
But
Same time, though, if there's that hard grease that's on there, you need that to desaturate the grease, even to get it off before the dishwasher can touch it.
Let me tell you something, Trent. In case you weren't aware, there are three elements to the cleaning cycle, and they are they are the physical. That is the brush. That is the spinning agitator arm, the blasting of the water. There is the thermal. So the temperature-based portion. And the last one, brother, the chemical. Those three elements, no matter what you're washing, those come into play. If you have an old school agitator washing machine for your clothes, right?
Right.
That is still, you got your cleaning zone at the bottom, but it's all thermal, chemical, and physical. It's all, and so that's what you always got to look at. And with the soap and the right temperature of water and the proper amount of tolerance for that water, you can achieve all three without a dishwasher. I mean, obviously, a dishwasher is a luxury, okay?
Sure.
It's a bummer that the thing broke, and it's kind of funny the repair chain we're going through, because don't look, if you may get one when you buy a house, huh?
Go on. I want to hear about the home warranty, because I just watched a sitcom about a home warranty.
Yeah, don't get a home warranty. Don't. It always sounds like a good idea, but they will literally patch things to death. Okay.
Yep.
They will, over the long term, have replaced something, but attempted to continue it going in repair. My home air conditioning system is a shining example. It has had some of the core elements replaced over a few times, but it has not been replaced. They won't do that. So, and it was funny with this, because the dishwasher, we got a repair guy scheduled for Monday. We got no phone call. They got rescheduled to Friday. So I just happened to check it, look at the tracking, and it's like, oh, no, they're going to be here Friday now. Well, it would have been nice to get a phone call, but whatever. Then that guy comes, and essentially he's the less expensive option they send, the first tier. The guy who's just like, make sure it's not the basic plumbing issues.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Is there water hooked up to it? Is it getting power?
Yeah. Are the main lines clear? Yeah. And then he told me, no, another guy's going to have to come to identify the model, because apparently I didn't have a product sticker or something. But which, by the way, anyway. And the guy wasn't very hospitable. So, he's the churn and burn guy. He's just getting in there to try and make sure the home warranty company can get away as less expensive, make sure all the lines aren't clogged. And so it's not a main mechanical thing. Second guy, and all he did was he just worked from the air gap drain hose thing. So he was just snaking it in those ends.
Uh-huh.
The guy who came today, so just a few days later, he pulled out the machine, and by the way, there was the sticker I said that had the model number and serial number.
Yep. Yep.
But this guy full on took out the machine, put it on its side. Hello, Michelle. He disconnected stuff to make sure that the line was clear, the pump was working, all that stuff. So now we're getting a new part ordered, and I have an unhappy wife because we're still using the very nice KitchenAid dish rack, and that I have no issue doing, because I'm not working for a machine. Then I'm just getting the dishes clean, and that's it.
It's a good family building moment. I can speculate. It's time spent together. That could have been spent in front of a screen, perhaps. I don't know. I'm again speculating here. There are several reasons why I don't have a family. So I'm speculating. One of them is a legal reason. I'm not allowed to, but
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You're not legally allowed to have a family?
Don't worry about it, Will.
Sorry. Okay. I didn't mean to shine a spotlight there. Apologies.
Laws in Utah are different, Will.
Okay. Oh, never mind. That just took a turn I never saw it coming. Apologies for being asleep at the wheel. Look, man. Now on this journey with the washer and realizing I have an aversion for working with it because I don't want to work for a machine.
Yeah.
Because my logic is, if I'm doing all of this work and then I'm just putting in the machine, and then it does the job, well, the machine is the last part. Now, I know you could say, well, Will, you use that same logic, and if you're baking a cake, you're mixing all these ingredients, you're working for the oven. I say no, because I can't make that cake bake and rise on my own, but I can sure as shit do them dishes.
Yep. Yeah, and there is a sense, like, there's not a lot of creativity that can be put into washing dishes.
Yeah.
There's three processes, right? and that's it. And but with baking, you can get creative. You can make choices along the way of the processes that will determine a different outcome. Whereas with washing dishes, the outcome's always the same.
Brother, you took that to a whole different level, and I appreciate it because it really helped me believe my argument is sane, or at least you were really good at BSing your way through debate class, to which I also salute you.
I'd like to think I'm an enabler, if nothing else.
Yes, definitely. I mean, look, it's almost 10 years later, if not 10 years later now. I've been enabling this bozo for years. Why do I still listen to him? I don't know. By the way, that was Trent's inner dialogue, not mine. So I did make a discovery, though, Trent, on this journey while I was trying to determine what model dishwasher I had, what was a comparable replacement. Because I don't remember what past Will spent on this damn thing. That idiot probably bought it on credit, and I should be mad at him, but neither here nor there. While I was looking at it, I have an interesting question for you, and this is one that you wouldn't expect me to say. As the guy who Trent got to see pre-show, I told my Alexa to change the color of the lights in my room, and voila, they did. Why? Because I can. That's why.
Right.
Because it brings me one more step to Star Trek, one closer moment to Star Trek. So I obviously like some Wi-Fi things enabled. I do like that when I'm working in here late and I can tell my machine to tell the oven to turn on and start preheating, so that way I know that's happening before. I like these conveniences. I like being able to adjust the temperature. This one I didn't go too deep on because I just saw the feature and I didn't understand. Trent, why would you need a Wi-Fi enabled dishwasher?
Oh boy. I mean, it could hook into like your whole smart home system. My roommate who works in IT just nonstop talks about how unsafe every appliance connection to Wi-Fi is.
By the way, I'm not going to disagree with you. These are, we would call them Internet of Things devices.
Yes.
And if it weren't for the fact that I want everything to work a certain way, I would have a separate network segment on my home network just for the smart devices.
That is a good idea, actually. Yeah, and easy to do.
Yeah, so like even if it's just the guest network, okay, well, I'll give the guest network that, and those are the ones that people, but then they're connecting to your devices still. So then it's almost like you need a guest network there. It goes on and on. But I agree, because they're so insecure that they could be easily exploited or be a backdoor into your network and your equipment. You know, the system isn't perfect. Technically speaking, I've been working from home for a company for 4 years now, and everything is supposed to be completely separate, even though my internet provider and my work connections internet provider is the same. They're supposed to be two different network segments, but every once in a while in the network neighborhood or view, when I'm browsing from my work computer, I will see some of my home devices. I'm like, that's not supposed to be happening. But neither here nor there. All I'm saying is, obviously security is a very touchy issue, especially when you've got your computers and everything at home. This is the reason why people are walking around with pieces of tape over the cameras on their, you know, I'm a guy sitting here with 4 or 5 cameras pointed at me at once. I'm not too worried about what you see here, folks, but I can understand your concern. But if you're really worried to the point that you're putting a piece of tape over your camera, then you got bigger problems anyway. That's just my opinion. But yes, every internet-connected device is a potential security hole or a potential tool that can be used against you. And I get that. Now, where I was going with this, though, other than it being bad, is think about it. Your relationship with your dishwasher, it's very physical and it's very transactional. I'm sure you don't sit in the living room or family room and think, wait a second, has the dishwasher been run? And you're not going to ask Alexa, is the dishwasher clean or dirty? Right? I mean, nobody's doing that. Another example, thermostats here on the house. If we were not home and I had the house in an economic mode and I knew we were an hour away, I could tell the house thermostats to start air conditioning my house before I get here. Extremely convenient.
Yeah.
I can't tell a dishwasher to start washing. Why am I going to tell the dishwasher to start running on my way home?
Right. Yeah. No, I totally get it. And beside, doesn't everyone just run their dishwasher when they go to bed?
Or you've had dinner and now you're sitting down with dessert. Those are the dishes you're willing to eat. That's okay. And it's like the end of the night. Yeah, it's always, maybe if not bed, then like I'm done with everything else now in the day.
Yeah.
My whole relationship with my dishwasher, very transactional. I don't understand the concept of Wi-Fi. Trent, so many other things have also gone on.
Oh, but before we move off the Patreon thing.
Oh yeah.
One thing I do remember from the Nagathon is that Lauren Gardner agreed to do a play-by-play commentary of the Nagathon, and he's still planning on doing it. He's going to go into the studio that he has access to, the actual studio, and he'll sit down, and there'll be a full-on picture-in-picture production. So he's just waiting for a good time he can sneak in and get that recorded.
I did catch the use of the word sneak there. So good on you. I was wondering about that, but I wasn't going to push the issue because I know
No, it's definitely on the docket.
I know we contacted the secure content delivery service and we got that file over to him. Yep. So
yeah, he's got it. He's reviewing the footage, and little peek behind the magic. A lot of times, if it's been pre-taped, they will watch it one time first so that they can give an accurate call of what's going on.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. Understandable. Also, Ash Williams pointing out Guilfoyle will hack your fridge too, which is a reference to Silicon Valley. Which I don't know. I was recently having a conversation about that show with somebody, and we were trying to determine if they had seen the season finale or not, or series finale. And it was kind of hard. Was it you? It was hard to determine. Yeah, it was hard to determine because it's like, well, how can the last one is so different from everything else? How can I not give away the premise?
Yeah, I haven't seen the last season yet, but just a couple weeks ago, I did finally break down when DC pulled all of its content and dissolved the DC Universe app into what is now the DC Infinite app, which is just comics. I was like, shit. Well, all right, HBO, here we go.
Oh, for the HBO Max?
Yeah.
Cool.
Another side tangent here. Big news in terms of streaming goes. The WWE, who since 2016 has had their own streaming service, just sold the rights to all of their content, which is like 25,000 hours or something. It's insane. To the Peacock.
No shit. Ooh.
Estimated worth, $1 billion for 5 years.
That I'm not surprising because really, NBC is making some serious plays here with this. They took there are lots of people that are staring at their Netflix accounts, not sure what to do because they can't do their comfort repetitive watching because The Office is not on Netflix anymore.
Right.
And better yet, I think they made the first season available. After that, it's like premium feature content. Probably the same thing with Friends too. And that's really going to jack some people up. But they're really trying to make themselves a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting. Like, I mean, so now NBC is Comcast, correct?
Yeah,
it's the same company. So this is Comcast's way of taking a shot at across the bow of AT&T is by beefing up the Peacock.
I'm not following your logic, but
AT&T owns HBO and Time Warner.
Oh, gotcha. I really just view it. Look, Trent, if you look at the growth of any entertainment medium, you can tell they're making a power grab for audience when they leverage wrestling. It's
Yeah,
time.
that's true.
It is
Yeah.
a time-proven formula. Wrestling
Yeah.
put TNT on the frickin' map.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did.
it you know, you could tell Fox was looking to fill some nights. They went. All I'm saying is it's not a dumb move. So I really just view it more as you know, honestly speaking, I wouldn't doubt it if in some way the partnership also somehow snubbed somebody else that wasn't really so great with either pay-per-view or some other type of streaming partnership already in there.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too because right now, the monthly service for the WWE network is $10 a month, but that's also the same price of the Peacock. It's $10 a month, so I will be getting the Peacock now,
Yeah.
and all the added content that I was just foregoing, just to get the wrestling. Like for everyone, it's kind of a win-win.
I'm not arguing. I mean, look, I upgraded the family data plan here, and now I've got HBO Max. And, you know, if you think about it as something that I'm just getting for free and thrown in, and I got to watch Doom Patrol finally, and anything else that's basically that was good on the DC Universe app is now on HBO Max.
Yep.
I just don't know if they're going to get me on the Peacock. I just don't. I'm not sure. Speaking of which, oh my gosh, like another one of those things you get for free because I bought an iPhone. I had Apple TV Plus, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Ted Lasso. Oh my gosh, I gotta admit, Jason Sudeikis is something that he either hits or misses for me.
Sure.
And Zach, I think, was saying something about this too at another point. And it's true, you know. It's like I can only some of his shtick I can take it in doses, but this is a story of a B grade football coach from America that's brought over to coach a soccer team in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And I was concerned about it just from the concept, but it is such an endearing story. And I just wasn't expecting that because I'm like, it's going to be a sports show. I don't think that's my cup of tea. But instead, you stumble into this show that is more about, in a way, always just trying to do the next right thing in a way where it's a show that really can almost change your outlook and your positivity.
Oh, wow. So, but also funny.
Yes, definitely. It's also got some good decent humor.
Because that's, I mean, I'm thinking like, you know, classic stuff, you know, of SNL fame, right? But the way you were going, I was like after school special, like the world's can be a better place with this.
No, it's just really a story about a coach who's just trying to get every player to be the best player that they can be. And he also translates that kind of just trying to be the best person you can be in life. And you got to accept those moments where you may be a shitty person because you just got to, it's got a lot of messages in there that I just, I didn't expect it. And again, if I didn't get this freebie, which is going to be running out soon, I mean, there's nothing else that's really grabbed me on Apple TV Plus.
Plus, there was one thing I if I remember, I'll bring it up. So, my new Samsung TV has all the apps, when you're setting it up, it goes through and you know, here's what's on right now on blah 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 blah. There was something on, but honestly, until I didn't even know that they had their own streaming service until, you know, last month.
Which one?
Apple Plus.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know they had one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I live in an Apple-less world except for work.
Well, I think, and the only reason why I've heard about anything on there was partially one, talk about Ted Lasso, because I think Mark Bernardin actually recommended it on Fat Man Beyond. But other than that, there was the press around the morning show, which has Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. I think was it Reese? I could be wrong. One of the leads I am screwing up. I know that. But it's but that's like a morning show that's going through a scandal and moving on from that. So I heard about that, and I know because Danny Pudi was on it, I was interested in Mythic Quest, which is basically a work show at a gaming company.
Oh, and that's on the Apple Plus too?
Yeah, that's one of their original content. As a matter of fact, I think they may have been one of the first shows that also kind of went the Zoom show approach for a few episodes when the pandemic was like first hitting. Speaking of which, Trent, happy Pi Day, because for me, it's been 314 days since March 16th when the stay-at-home order first went into effect in California, and technically we've then been in a tiered system, and we're still supposed to be. Basically, it's been 314 days of stay at home for me. So this is my Pi Day.
Well, and it's fortuitous because Friday was the National Pie Day of like actual, the dessert.
Oh, I thought that was on March 14th. It's probably one of those ones where it's on both because it's, there's no governing board on these holidays, no. Trent. They're out of control.
No, it's in fact, I had a friend who did a podcast that just did they just looked at whatever day it was, and then they talked about it and tried to find out where it came from and why it existed.
I don't blame them, because some of those things, man, it's like, well, wait a second, it's what day? No.
Yeah.
I can get behind the things that are just like generic, like it's donut day, it's pie day, it's cake day, anything with the sugary foods that I'm Trent. Speaking of the Internet of Things and the COVID of things, the other day I go out to the mailbox and I get my mail, right? And what is on there but a very colorful pamphlet that encouraged me to go to a link in order to next day order my Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, shit.
Not only is it Girl Scout cookie season, but they have figured a way around the stay-at-homeness of it all.
And so, okay, so is it delivered through the mail? Do they just knock on your door and leave it?
This was, well, first of all, it was a flyer that was taped to my mailbox. So basically, this was this kid's version of going around door to door. So sure. She just then did deliveries, and her orders she must have done good on this first run, because I don't think you can, no more deliveries until like sometime in February now.
Oh, dude, had some entrepreneurial young whippersnapper done that to my mailbox, I would have ordered a case, man. A case.
I'm terrified. The boxes are in the house, and one of them are these s'mores cookies.
Is this a new one?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, anything outside of Thin Mint and Samoa, maybe tag-alongs. Those are like the three that I know. After that,
are those the peanut butter ones?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
Okay, yeah. Those are the three I know. Then.
I mean, well, I think they also have some type of just plain shortbread cookie too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man. All I know is I thought that was ingenious.
That is smart. That's really, really smart.
But
like and she's probably gonna crush it, like break record shit stuff, man.
The only thing though that really bums me out. Well, okay, there's over 400,000 Americans that have died from this disease that didn't necessarily have to, and the whole economic and bad things of it all. But one thing I'm gonna miss, Trent, because we are still kind of in this COVID situation, is we're not gonna get that charming story of the big city Girl Scout girl who went down and set up shop in front of the convenience store located right next to the cannabis dispensary.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yep. Every year too. That makes headlines, right? Of like how she broke a sales record. And they're interviewing, Tommy Chong about his purchase for the day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to be missing out on that charming anecdote. And that really, that kind of bums me out. But,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Speaking of dispensaries, I just saw that Arizona, a state almost as red as Utah, is opening up its first recreational dispensaries this month.
Well, don't forget that the state did go blue for Biden. So,
Ooh, I know. Oh.
but it was that same election. So yeah, they've got the legal cannabis in Arizona now.
Yeah. Which
I guess means they're gonna start getting some of that quality stuff instead of some of that ditch stuff, right? That's what I.
Yeah, I mean that's what I keep on being told is like, you'll never go back to the Snickle Fritz.
Is everything in your life just directly related to Pineapple Express?
And yeah. I don't even smoke. Like that's how much I love that movie.
Fair enough. So one of the other ordeals, I guess if I hadn't talked about it, I found this one very interesting. So a while back, I looked at upgrading the home internet here, the Wi-Fi, more specific. Yeah. And I did the most basic of research, which is absolutely none, pretty much.
Okay.
And I went with some basic article recommendations. So I ended up getting the Google Mesh Nest system here at the house. And
so this is a Nest branded Google product?
Yeah, well, Google bought Nest and then they made everything Nest. So like their smart screen that they would have called Google, well, I don't know, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
They became the Nest Hub, right?
I did not know about that acquisition.
Yeah. So the Google Nest Mesh system I got for the house. And then like all of these smart devices that I'm always talking to, they stopped working somewhat, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. Google and everything else that was Alexa powered suddenly wasn't working.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
But it wasn't what you think it was. Long story short, though, even though it's supposed to have covered like more than the square footage of my home, the whole fact that the internet starts in here and then has to go out and up and there's a staircase in the middle, bad transmissions, right? But yeah. Everybody's at home, so I needed to have the kids be able to have their school stuff good.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, Google, you're just not cutting it, which, by the way, coming soon to either our Patreon or the main page, you can see our eBay postings where you can buy my internet crap I don't want. Which ideally probably you're not going to be part of that audience based on what I'm going to say now, because it's actually it's a known issue that it will interfere with smart devices because it adds an extra layer of network address translation in there. It's almost like your devices are now on a subnetwork of your network, so they never quite work right after that.
Okay.
If you follow along.
And that's interesting because we had an issue at the university with Chromecast, in that it automatically tried to set up a subnetwork, and our firewall is such that there can be no subnetworks, and so it just failed. Every single Chromecast just never worked on campus.
I am starting to think perhaps we should have re-listened to the Nogathon before we did this episode.
I was gonna say, are we covering things that we've already talked about? Because I don't remember from that night.
I got to tell you something. I was noggin too, my friend, and I literally think we're having the same conversation we've already had.
Okay.
I mean, not that we don't normally do that podcasting here anyway, but more specifically, I think this is a conversation we've already covered.
Okay, fair enough.
Oops. Did I tell you that I got the Oculus Quest 2 for Christmas?
No.
I did. I have seen the reality that is virtual.
Okay, so chat me up on this, because my VR experience is beyond limited. Like I've put on like Samsung's VR headset that came out in like 2016, and that's about it.
It's well, first of all, it's interesting. I can play it without wearing my glasses. and I believe I can get the focus almost right. It really is about getting the visor in just the right spot. And then their controller system is interesting because it's all trigger and thumb, and there's also a thumb joystick and buttons. So they came up with some interesting concepts there. And it is amazing how quickly you will forget about how your hands work normally in the world when you slowly reorient them just to these little minor command sets instead. But needless to say, the first thing I played was Beat Saber, which is like it's I mean, just think of it like Fruit Ninja, but it's block, or Guitar Hero, but now you're hitting blocks with specific colors and specific directions and all that jazz.
It's a rhythm-based game.
Yes, very fun. And then I had to play Vader Immortal, which is like going through 3 episodes of a story. Naturally, lightsabers involved. I'm sure you're seeing a recurring theme here. And then they also put out a VR game that's based on Batu, which is the world at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, right?
Yes,
And Will might mention anyway. Zach's pointing out, I maybe you did say this story before, but in a different way, but not the Oculus thing. And then this one I played, where you're basically going through like the Badlands of this area. And really, it is a lot about like picking things, putting them in inventory, and shooting stuff with your pew pew laser pistols.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing I will say about the whole setup that I do like, that's really cool, is once you put it on, before you start using it, it first helps it tries to orient where the floor is, and then you kind of can help it if it's not by just putting your controller down. And then the thing you do, you use that same trigger I talked about, and you paint the safe area around you. So that way, when you're playing the game, you're like, I am safe moving around in here. I'm not going to hit anything. And better yet, just like you're in a goddamn holodeck, if you get close to breaching that barrier, suddenly grid lines start showing up around you in that border that you set up.
Okay.
Get it? So that you don't go outside of your safe zone, and it's just checking you back that, hey, you can't be just bouncing all around here.
Yeah.
And plus, it gives you the ability to know you're not going to take yourself out on an ottoman or something. But I also did end up taking my noise-canceling headphones and pairing it with it through the experimental Bluetooth feature, which is great. Although I will say that the speakers that they have, which just kind of project at your ears, were pretty darn good too. And it is interesting the way the sound does move around you. Naturally, with earbuds, you get even more of that kind of 3D audio effect. But it is weird just being able to stop, and you find yourself like, it's almost like Vader Immortal knew, like, this is going to be a long, boring little trip where this hovercraft is basically going from here to there. So let's really paint a canvas, because people are going to stop and look around here. And that is the weirdest part, is that you're suddenly completely in a different place and in a different world. It's an amazing experience. Interestingly enough, though, I've discovered I can only handle it in small doses.
Vertigo?
A little bit.
Yeah. Dude, like, I am the most car sick prone person in the world. Like, I can't even ride shotgun and I'll start getting sick. Like, and that's been a big deterrent for me, is like, how's my gut gonna handle this? /head /ear /equilibrium et al.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say though that there are other ways that I never imagined using VR that I think are hilarious. The first of which is that there's a YouTube app. So literally, I'm like, well, hold on a second. Let's pull up Fat Man on Batman. And then it's like you're in a viewing room in a way, or you're in a big black void, and it's just nothing but this giant screen from wall to wall, like you're in the movies.
Yeah, okay.
And there's an Amazon app, I think. So you can use the Prime app or whatever, and you can like dip into your video library and watch movies. And in that one, it literally is set up like it is a movie theater, and you can control the lights.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, we've all seen pictures of like people who have built boxes for their phones to cover their heads so that they can have like a big screen experience on a small screen.
Mm-hmm.
This is just that done very, very well on a very. What is it a 4K resolution?
I'm sorry, I'm still caught on the boxes because all I'm thinking about is I think it was a Budweiser box
Yeah, yeah.
around your head. That's all I'm envisioning now. I knew what you were talking about.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, you're right. It is I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what the resolution is. I don't believe it's 4K, but whatever it is, it's sharp and good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A game that I have seen, it's been out for a while, so you can probably get it for really cheap. But I've seen it played both as screenshot, but it was made for VR. You can get it in 2D as well, but it's a game called Super Hot.
Mm-hmm.
This game will blow your mind in VR, I am told. And the reviews are all about it too. It's essentially a first-person shooter. And you go through the motions, and then you reverse it, and you see the bullet coming, and you move, and then you reverse it, and you reverse it and do it again until you get past each bullet. Yeah, I would definitely just dabble in Super Hot and see what you think.
I'll take a look at it. And for those of you not following along, Paul is chiming in, and he's pointing out 4-color PJ. He's saying that you should get a floor fan and point it at yourself. It stops some of the vertigo and other side effects, which of VR, which makes sense because it at least gives you one constant reference around you to where you know where you are and where you're facing. Because
I mean, for these games, you're standing, right? For most of them.
Yeah. Mostly. So I'm playing the Galaxy's Edge game, Trent. Now, one of the things about it is that you've got a multi-tool that's on a gun, right? It's on a handle. It's got a trigger, all that jazz. And it clips onto your belt, the front of your belt, okay? And your inventory is like right around here. So you want to put something in inventory, you do that, and it'll go right in. You want to look at your inventory, you like tap it, and you can throw it right in front of you. It's everything you dreamed of. But when you're sitting down, the game still recognizes like my height level. So it unfortunately, one thing it does is it shifted my view down. So I'm trying to work on some of these things you got to solder and open, and I'm like this. Oh, pardon me. I'm like this, right? Looking like an idiot. But the worst part is I drop something and I'm going to go get it, but now I'm sitting on a couch. And to my family, it looks like I'm jabbing myself in the crotch with this controller, okay? I mean, it's okay to love VR, but don't love VR, if you know what I mean.
No, I know. Well, I mean, I can speculate as I can dream about what you mean. Not loving VR, because there are other apps that I've also seen highly reviewed for VR as well, though not available in most. They have to be directly downloaded. They're not available in any stores, online stores.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Pornhub app. It's not on the Apple Store or anywhere else.
The nice thing is I don't need to worry about that on mine, and I don't mean it from a Puritan perspective. I just mean like I know my kids are going to use this thing, so there's no shenanigans going on.
No, nor should there be.
No, should there be? No. The only thing I also don't like about this are some of the times that my wife has given an example to me by taking video of what I look like when I use it, because I feel like there's serious stuff going on. I mean, I'm reaching down and I'm grabbing that gun the guy dropped, and I'm clearing the cooling chain. I'm doing some serious stuff, right? But the video I get back looks like this. And I look more like somebody who doesn't know what to do with his hands.
But that's not the experience you're getting during, like, you're seeing yourself like doing stuff, right?
Yeah, like especially the movements that you can't see, that these grips are really that are really good about this particular game anyway. You're grabbing like gun handles, right? It also has a trigger on it, and part of the grabbing is this secondary button that they've got. So to me, you can't see it, but like I'm going for this gun that's on the ground, and then when I'm like grabbing it, I'm physically also gripping the handle of the controller. So it's a very transparent interaction for me.
Yeah.
And I gotta say too that if I haven't really explored it much, but if there is a higher intensity level on Beat Saber, I could really see that thing being more of a fitness game.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I mean, and that's been like the goal, right, for a lot of quote unquote VR stuff since the Wii. Shit, since the Sega Activision.
Mm-hmm. I can remember back in the early 90s where I got to take part in a market study, so a blind market research thing, and it just happened to be on VR. And at that time, we got to test it, and it was bulky, and it was a wireframe tank game, and I still thought it was amazing. And this, of course, naturally puts it to shame. But like,
cool boy.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if I were single and I were looking either buying a new TV or an Oculus Quest, I might actually just consider the Oculus Quest, because if I'm sitting in the house alone anyway, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why not have the mega screen experience? And, you know, right set of headphones, you can blend into any environment, or you're getting as much of the mix as they can. As a matter of fact, one of the dangerous things I also discovered during like the Christmas holiday and the like, during my recent break times, was that the home stereo has a Bluetooth transmitter hooked up to it, the surround sound system. And boy, oh boy, I in some ways I can get more out of the cinematic audio experience just wearing headphones.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you this with the Bluetooth for your VR as well. Is there any lag? Because I have hooked up Bluetooth speakers to a laptop before when I'm editing video, and I couldn't do it because there was just enough delay in the transmission that it was throwing off what I was editing.
Yeah, that now you're getting into specialty equipment that has guarantees of micro latency. So that way they ensure the minimalist of latency, because there is always going to be some level of latency there. I'm tired of saying latency.
There has to be, yeah.
But it does exist. And I will say that if I don't have the volume, because I'll use them and the volume will be turned all the way down, because I'll only use this setup like people have gone to bed and I'm still watching TV, or they're doing other things and I'm watching TV. And there is, if I don't have it muted to the rest of the world, then there you can hear, it's like, it's not quite a second, it's some portion of a second, but it is a little offset. But it is not enough to where it's ruining my experience. So in other words, like I'm not seeing it when they're speaking. You know what I mean? I'm not getting a delay there.
Yep.
So. But all in all, forgot where I was even going with this. How did we get?
Okay.
Oh, well, the VR. It's really cool. I mean, it was one of those things, because really when you're an adult, Christmas is really about getting the stuff that you would never really buy otherwise, right? And I learned my lesson with the last Spider-Man game. I'm not getting a gaming system just to play one damn game. Except apparently requesting a VR system, because honestly, I think it was Vader Immortal that originally made me want to check it out. And now, like, even just some of the simple tour videos are really cool. Just being able to sit down and get a tour through a place.
Well, and VR has, like, especially now, blown up in the real estate market. It is insane. Like, I've got buddies that have like fully invested in VR cameras and 360 cameras, and that's all they do is make tour videos and you know, map a house for a VR experience for real estate brokers.
See, have you brought that up before? Because I know somebody else told me, they're like, if you want to make easy money right now, get a VR rig and just post yourself as a VR tour service on like Craigslist, and you will get like business hand over fist.
I believe it, man. Yeah, just I know my friends that are doing it are just like, this is like, it's so easy to do, and you can be competitively priced for your service and still be making bank.
Dang, man. See, look, we could be helping people, giving you job ideas on the silly little podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I got to tell you, man, I had a good time tonight. Did we accomplish something? I'm not sure.
I think we did.
I think we did. By the way, how is everything going with the is it Dynamite Wrestling?
Devotion Championship,
Devotion
DCW.
Champion. It's the D. And I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way.
No, you're good.
I just can't ever remember what the D is, because I mean, like, I don't know why I can't, because it makes sense. Like Utah, Devotion. It seems like,
Yeah, but it's not one of those Christian specific wrestling promotions, which does exist, and they are sad. They are so sad.
Yeah, because every match, Jesus comes in for the win.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean,
Jesus
saves. And does it. Yeah, he comes in for the save. It's going great, man. Just started season 2. Season 2 airs Thursday on the Fight TV app if you're watching it there. However, you can also watch it like the day after on YouTube at a higher resolution. So if you're concerned about things like that, there you go.
Or if you're watching on your VR headset.
Exactly. And you can hear a friend of the show, Lauren Gardner, call the action.
Yeah, speaking of which, I know you were borrowing the headset, and I noticed today you're not doing that.
Yeah, he needed it back because he had to record the show. So that's that. I'm back to just using the old Samson here. Again, if I could sneak into the studio with him one of these days, I could use their Shure setup just like you've got, man.
That would be nice, because one of the things that I noticed is there's a tonal difference. Like it's a little you're lacking bass, son.
Yeah, you're hearing probably my more accurate and annoying voice, because I had EQ software set up that was tuned just for that headset. To get rid of like the very nasally voice that is mine, and just try to make it more like an adult man, instead of like the 15-year-old cousin that's just so fucking annoying.
It's so funny you say that, because it's just like I don't hear it. Like I don't hear it at all, Trent. And I gotta say, look. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I totally get it. When they told me I would have to have dental work done to avoid complications later, and one of the benefits was I would lose a bit of the lisp that I had, I jumped at it, brother. And that was physical mutilation, okay?
Yeah, that was daily pain.
Yeah.
24.
So I completely understand that you may be hypercritical. All I was noticing was there was a little less bass in your setup. That's all.
Sure. That's why. So nasally.
Stop it. Just stop. But why? What are the differences between the two different types of microphones, though, that are tonally throwing off such a different profile?
You know what? It might also have to do with how close the microphone is and the compressor. So the gain was probably higher up on that, where it was closer, so it was capturing lower gain at a higher volume and then compressed down to something that I felt sounded like an adult male would sound like. And that's not a condenser mic either. So
okay.
this is picking up the full spectrum of my voice more accurately. than the one I was using prior, the headset.
That was one of the other things I learned from Ted Lasso, because I've always noticed when people are really big into, the World Cup and everything, that you always hear these broadcasts. And somehow in these massive screaming stadiums, you really hear these broadcasters, though. And the microphones they're using are a trip, because it's like it's on a stick. The microphone is pointed at their face, and there's also extra bracing. And homeboys, they rock it right like this, Trent.
Yeah. Yeah, and the compressor on it is so high that, if they're not peaking -15, it's not registering.
Yeah, I was really shocked by that. That was a really cool thing to see, to me.
Oh God, and that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down is to look at how different sports broadcasting audio equipment is compared to podcasting or even music recording. It is its own whole different ball game in that realm.
Well,
that you can,
you gotta play to the room. It's the same thing with live events too. And there's a lot of different things that you need to know. And I think that unfortunately there are a lot of people that get into the business being able to get by with just enough knowledge to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And
yep.
And one of the things that never mind. Now I'm going to start preaching about gain, because
gain and volume are so different, people.
Thank you. They
They
are
are so different. And that's a side tangent. Everyone adjusts the gain in Adobe Premiere instead of adjusting the level, because it's easy to adjust a peak gain and a little bit harder to adjust a peak level, and everyone just does the gain and they're so different. They're not. That's
right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I know we've lost 99% of you in the last 2 minutes of this, but
Yes.
you gotta understand that there are some things that are so basic that are fundamentals that people lose. There's a reason why you don't, depending on where I've messed up my settings for the day, but there's a reason why you don't hear a lot of the noise that goes on around me, because I don't have the gain lifted very much.
Yep. And you should, if you're recording correctly, you should. And that's the other great thing about the Shure 7B MB is that it naturally captures a broad gain spectrum without having to artificially raise that, which is where you start picking up other frequencies.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you don't want to do. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing that I've always thought that I haven't done yet is just also the maximum noise suppression in a room. There was one point where I got to work in a room that was fully surrounded. Every inch was covered in acoustic baffling, and it was both the most comforting and most unnerving room to be in, because that thing, because people are like, let me go ahead and index on all the other episodes of NetHeads. He said this, but sound in itself is a living thing. It reaches out, hits surfaces, comes back, and everything else. And that's why, I can nine times out of 10, I can ID when a scene has been ADR'd or additional dialogue recording.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's just well, hold on, that person's voice is tonally different. It's not living in the same space as that guy's voice, kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, or if, and you see it way more in TV, because you've got to get a product out quickly. You're on a time schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll notice it a lot if if the background noise isn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
Which sound takes time, and if you don't have time, that's one of the things you can cut corners on quickly to get it out the door. So yeah, I'm with.
One of the things I've loved and missed about live broadcasting and to an audience that has basically their own handles, because we had a lot of it on NetHeads before with Twitter and everything, but now I'm seeing the names pop up in the chat too, and one of them, never as clever as this. What kind of screen name is that other than damn good, right?
Yeah, that's up there with Router Ninja.
Yeah, man. What happened to Router Ninja? That's a great.
He was actually just looking to buy a new router on and was asking for recommendations on Facebook 2 days ago.
Oh, sweet irony.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for whatever it is you do. We're here for you. Thank you. If you want to support us or find out more about us, you can go to patreon.com/ I think it's just NetHeads, but if not, just go to netheadsonair.com. There's a link and it'll get you there. I'm still almost toying with the idea of just sending NetHeads on Air to the Patreon, because it's like, cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send them there. But that's if you want to. You don't have to. The podcast is still always free. The videos, I can't get away from it right now. They're free. I'm an attention whore. I'm going to go out on multiple platforms. It's just the way I am, Trent. I'm sorry. But
I accept that.
thank you. I appreciate your acceptance. It fulfills my heart. So you can check us out there. Also, where do you want to send them, Trent?
Well, if you want to see what I'm working on and spending, all of my waking hours that I'm not at work working on, go to youtube.com/C, which is for channel, /Devotion Wrestling. I'll throw it up on Twitter with the hashtag NetHeads.
Awesome. And there you go. We've wrapped up another one. So until next time, my name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
Soon-ish.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off.
I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
I'm surprised. Well, actually, I'm not, because nobody knows about us. But I'm surprised that cancel culture hasn't come after us for the little Nancy and deal with it thing now. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Nancy could be referring to a specific person.
Yeah,
and
that's a name I don't want to, like I said, I want to avoid the political rhetoric, so I don't want to get into it. I just got to share something, Trent. So, before, like, things were a little more complex, and now they've become a little simplified, because I took the Stream Deck that I use here, and instead I set it up for, like, audio drops instead. So now I don't have to worry about all of that, like, oh my God, we hit the right key and everything. I can just see them right here. Like, if I wanted to say hell no.
Hell no!
Just like that. One of the...
That's impressive.
Yeah, literally turn the Stream Deck into a live 360 like we used to use in radio when I was younger.
Back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. So now, like, if I want to wrap things up, I don't need to fumble around anymore. I can just go ahead and just, like, hit a button, and then suddenly,